Welcome to Around the Reel with your hosts, Aaron Carlson, Charles Lawson, and Samantha Hanna. Ah, shit. Here we go again.
We're in pre-production, post-production, pre-planning, writing. What else?
A whole bunch of stuff.
All kinds of shit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So we get it.
You were on time.
Yeah, we don't fuck around.
Actually, I got
It
here.
is our podcast. I hope we're on time.
I got here at 11:10, so I was 10 minutes late.
Yes, you were, Chuck.
Well, no, because it
Well,
starts
'cause
at
I'm always
11:30.
No, but I'm always early. If I'm
Oh,
not a
yeah.
half hour early, I'm late.
Tom, hi. How are you doing today?
I am okay. How are you?
Pretty darn good.
Yeah, me
Pretty
too.
darn good.
And I'd like to say thank you for blurring out your background. We don't want to see all the crap that you have at home or try to pinpoint exactly where you live.
No, but I was going to ask how
sorry.
you did that because I think that's cool.
Oh, it's just a filter. You have it.
I think it's just a preference. Yeah, there's a lot
That's
of
cool.
yeah.
I love that.
there's a lot of
Sam likes it because it looks like Dateline.
Can you blur your face and make the background like stay?
That was
No,
like
we're not
defeat
going to
the
let you use
purpose.
that filter, Sam.
Okay.
I think that's TikTok.
Oh. Oh yeah.
She would know that one. She loves TikTok.
I love TikTok.
Man.
TikTok daddy's on there.
I know. Yeah, she showed me. She's got this thing, Tom, with TikTok daddies. You know what that is? It's,
Hot guys on TikTok.
Yeah, she says
Guys
hot
that
guys
aren't
on,
Aaron on TikTok.
Yeah, she said hot guys on TikTok. I'm like, okay, cool. So she was the other day saying, oh, God, I just TikTok daddy. I can't do this. I got to cut it off. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, dude, this guy must be like legit.
So he
I
wanted
was
to
like,
see.
hey,
He
Sam,
was
let me
like-
see. So I'm going to the gym. I want to get there. So did she look at me and go, dude, you're like a TikTok daddy? And I'm like, yeah. Anyway, I see
Never gonna happen.
Dude, Tom, I see the guy she's looking at. This is not a TikTok daddy. I don't know.
Oh, he was a TikTok.
No, he had
He's a little strange looking.
he had a weird filter face. I call them filter faces.
It wasn't real.
It did not look like a man.
What did he look like?
It was
mean-
just different. It was different.
It is TikTok. It might. Who knows?
I
It
know,
was an
man.
anomaly though.
It was weird.
Whatever it was.
It was weird.
Wait a second. So he was doing his TikTok with a filter?
Okay, so he was too good looking, like way too good looking,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
perfect,
yeah.
like he
He was photoshopped as fuck. It was weird.
Yeah, it was not real. It was not a real person.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan.
You guys are
filters.
totally not motivating me to get onto TikTok at all.
It's fun. If you need a
It's
good
rough.
giggle, it's fun. You just scroll for a few things, but you're an idiot, haha. And then you laugh at the people who are also making fun of people, and you go, haha, I agree.
I think
Yeah.
it's fun.
That
You know, if for marketing standpoint,
And
Tom,
then you flush a toilet and you leave the room.
for
that's a
marketing.
different. You're on. There's so many better websites for that.
Right, exactly. For marketing, though, it's not a bad idea to do some stuff on there. I know a few filmmakers who did some stuff on there, and they got a really good response. So, but it's tricky though. It's not like, hey, here's what I'm doing, and check this out. It's weird.
It's-
Yeah,
You have
I
to
mean,
entertain in
Yeah,
30 seconds or less.
yeah.
I
3
should
minutes.
learn it. I
actually.
mean, like 2 of our last movies, we basically did all the fundraising and promotion on social media. So, but now everybody's fled Facebook, so it's so much harder.
I know. Well, you can pay to get them back. Just do some Facebook ads. You'll be fine. Just drop a few bucks.
So ineffective.
I
So
know, it's
ineffective.
It's hard.
ridiculous.
If you spend
It is
20
hard.
bucks, we'll give you 20 bucks in free advertising. I don't want to spend the $20 because it's not going to do anything.
Yeah, I know. It's
The
weird.
per click is terrible.
Yeah,
It's awful. Yeah.
And trying to narrow it down is not as easy as it sounds. Like you think you know, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It's weird.
The algorithm, it never makes any
It doesn't
sense.
fuck around
At all, yeah.
It
Yep.
doesn't.
Well, now that we've talked about our weekend and the things that gets
Yeah.
us going
Well, I
every
didn't
day-
talk about everything. I mean, I had a birthday.
Well,
Oh yeah, happy
Well, I was
birthday,
going to
Aaron.
actually
Yeah.
introduce our guest a little sooner into the show rather than
I
the
know.
20-minute rambling like we
No,
usually do.
let's talk
Yeah.
about when was your birthday?
It was on St. Patty's Day. Yeah, and
Congrats.
everybody came over, and there was a surprise party for me, and I was like, "Oh,
What?
Sam
It was a,
put
it was
on.
a,
Yeah,
it was a
dude.
drop-in surprise party. It's
Yeah,
like,
it was
oh, I didn't know they were
fucking
coming.
cool. I had no idea. No, and not until I saw all the beer and stuff we bought at the store, and then I was like, "Oh shit, something's going down." But other than
Oh, that sounds amazing.
it was fun, dude.
Parties,
Yeah.
people.
We had people
Yeah,
over,
we
and
haven't
everybody
done it
showed.
forever.
I hugged people,
Yeah.
whether they wanted to or not. It was nice.
Yeah, it was creepy, but
It was really cool, man. Yeah, and I got like so many cool presents and emotional moments, and I don't know. It was
yeah, like that Prince shirt he's wearing right now.
Yeah, I mean, I got a Prince shirt, but I'm embracing my Prince shirt. So Tom, I
Nice.
got in a fight with a guy at a bar one night when he called me Prince because it really pissed me off. And the audience knows this story, so if you ever want to know, I'll tell you. Well, anyway, I kicked the shit out of him. Just
He called him Prince
That's the best
instead of
part.
the N-word.
yeah. And it was clever, It was clever.
That's what pissed him off.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
clever.
I felt like Deadpool.
In Tacoma?
No, in Gig
Actually, it was
Harbor.
in Gig
Gig
Harbor.
Harbor.
Oh, Gig Harbor. Okay.
Yeah,
The suburbs of Tacoma.
yep, that's where it happened. But anyway, since then that's been like the running joke because I think it's kind of funny.
So John Kerry, the
Yeah.
guy he beat up, gave him that Prince shirt.
Yeah.
Wasn't that nice of him for his birthday?
Wait, you know the guy that you're now friends with the guy? You
No,
No.
I just put it was from him.
Yeah.
It was really
Sam
from
just
me.
put a gift
Got it.
card on it to say, hey.
I thought it was funny.
Yep.
But
And
he's
I wear
wearing it. So.
Yeah, I wear it proudly. Prince is a badass, especially Purple Rain.
Yeah.
He's a badass.
So for Aaron's birthday, Sam messed with him like she does every day.
Every birthday.
all the time.
Well, every day. Yeah.
Yeah. Fun stuff though.
And I'll admit to everybody, I came over here empty-handed. Just walked over, I was like, hey, buddy, I know I saw you every day this week so far, but I am here.
Well, it was a nice day. I was glad you were there. But yeah, it was really cool.
I will say, having grown up in the Pacific Northwest, like it wouldn't surprise me if that area was so white people actually thought you were Prince.
You right?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know. That's what's so
And then
funny.
you have to remind him that he's actually dead, and then you depress a whole bunch of white people.
Exactly.
Pretty much.
Yeah, they do look at me that way. I make jokes about it all the time, but I get like this different clout.
Prince is
So to
like
speak
5'4".
It
and
was
like-
Yeah, I walk around Gig Harbor now, and I feel like John Travolta. Like everybody's looking at me. It's kind of cool.
The year was 1995. The restaurant was the Cimarron, the bar, the Silver Spur, and Aaron came walking into a room full of white rednecks.
Yeah,
All right,
like
y'all.
Eddie Murphy in
And
48
enough
Hours.
about
Hear
Aaron.
the
Exactly.
crickets.
Yeah.
Let's literally enough about Aaron.
I was like, my name is Reggie Hammond.
Let's enough about Aaron.
All right,
Let's
Oh.
enough
all
about
right,
Aaron.
okay, let's get back to it. Okay, we'll
Let's
start the
talk
show.
about Tom. I want to
Yeah.
talk about
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Around the Reel.
Welcome to Around the Reel.
Tom, welcome to Around the Reel.
Welcome to Around the Room. Just went around
Hey,
the room.
thank you.
Amazing.
Badass. Tom Putnam. Is that how you
Yes.
say your name?
Yes, sir.
All right, cool.
We are so excited to talk to you today.
Yeah, man. We got to watch a couple of your movies last night.
Ooh, which ones did you watch?
Burn and United States of Insanity.
Bow.
Cool.
Yes, so our plan was because we had track meet yesterday with our sons, and so we went to that. And by the time I got a chance to sit down and watch anything, and I have to say my fault because I kept giving you the wrong email
I
that you
know.
kept sending it. I'm so sorry. I always forget that 18 on there, but
If there's only social medias, websites, and everything else you could go to find it.
so we could have watched them all, but we didn't. So we had little time, and so we're like gonna scrub through them, kind of like get to know your style and what you do, what it's about, all that. But we wanted to get a little bit of each one. So we're like, yeah, okay, that's what we're gonna do. So we started the first one, Burn, and we couldn't stop.
Yeah.
And so we watched that entire thing, and then then the next one we're like, okay, now we're gonna like scrub through the last two so we get an idea. And we started the next one, and we couldn't stop. So we never got to the third one. I'm sorry, we never got to the third one. But
They watch themselves to sleep, basically. There's like, okay, I just can't do anymore. Keep watching the whole thing.
That's a lot of mayhem.
they
to
were
pack
so
into
good.
3
though.
hours.
They were. Yes, it was so
Thank
good.
you.
So
Yeah,
good.
Absolutely fantastic, Tom.
We thoroughly enjoyed them.
Yeah, both of them are so entertaining and so thought intriguing. So let's just talk about just the couple films we watched, Burn and United States of Insanity.
Sure.
So let's start with Burn, because that's an older film that you created, right?
Yep. We filmed that from 2009 to 2011, and then it was released in 2012. And the follow-up is going to be out in a few months.
That's
It's pretty
what
much
we
just
done.
saw it was in
found
production.
out.
I just
We're
peeked at
excited.
that. That's fucking great, dude.
Mhm.
What was the process of doing that documentary? Because we've made a documentary too. We did our first one here. Sam's directing that one, and it'll be releasing next month. But
Cool.
we watched yours and we're like, what the fuck? Holy shit.
We're just so impressive. Like,
Yeah, 'cause I know how hard it is.
Loved how you put it together. I mean, it was great. It was
Yeah.
great.
Oh, thanks. So
Both of them.
for people who don't know, Burn, we spent a year with the busiest firehouse in America, which is also in the worst zip code in America, which is also in Detroit,
Yes.
and is also in one of the most poorly funded fire departments in
Yes.
America. And so we spent a year with those guys, and it's basically, you guys saw it, it's like a war movie, right? Where we're
Yeah.
with this
Oh God. Yeah.
guys, and we get to know them and love them and touch on bigger issues, but through their eyes. And
Yeah.
at the time, nobody had sent cameras into burning buildings before, and we're like, don't do that, that's terrible. So we just started doing that. And how it originally happened was Brenna Sanchez, who I directed and produced the film with, is from Detroit, grew up in the city. I've never been to Detroit. I mean, I'm from Portland,
Okay.
Oregon.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that was
we
gonna
were
be one-
wondering about that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, which is polar opposite. And
Yeah.
or not lately, but normally.
But growing up,
Yeah. Growing up, it
Yeah.
was. Yeah.
It was a quiet, sleepy, most polite city in America.
Yeah. Sure.
And we had read a news story about a Detroit firefighter named Walt Harris, father of 5, married to his high school sweetheart, died when an abandoned building collapsed on him. And like the guy, and the picture it painted, like his transponder didn't work. They didn't know he was under there. And we thought, what is going on? This is a major American city. How is this even possible?
Yeah.
And we went out with a tiny little bit of seed money to basically say, hey, let's spend like 5 days here and see if we catch any fires.
Mm-hmm.
And we went to on our first shift with one firehouse, we went to 10 structure fires, which is more than a suburban firefighter could see in their entire career.
No kidding.
Right.
At massive fires, like
Wow.
block long warehouses, single family dwellings, factories, you name it. And we were just totally blown away. So we made a sizzle reel that we were really excited about. Like, all right, finally, a project no one could say no to. And like everybody said no to it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And
yeah.
so what we did was we took that sizzle reel and we made it public. And we put a little thing at the beginning and end that said, hey, if you believe that this important story should be told, please click here to donate. And we put it online.
And just
just-
waited.
and-
Yeah.
And I had a little thing on my computer that would ding if people donated. And it started dinging and dinging and dinging and dinging and dinging and faster and faster. And pretty soon, like LA Times picked it up and the Atlantic and the Sun in the UK. And hey, people were like just as blown away as we were in terms of the story.
Mm-hmm.
And that's basically how we raised the money to do the movie.
Yeah.
Your credit roll
Wow.
showed the amount
I
of
know.
donations that you got. And
Oh my God,
we're
right.
sitting there
Crazy.
like, holy shit.
We were tripping
Yeah,
about that. We were like,
it's-
it just went for days.
It's a beautiful thing to see.
That was
and
awesome.
and you know
Thank
what
you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what you were able to create with your team, man, is well worth every donation. I mean, you told that fucking story. I'll
Oh,
tell
yeah.
you that right now. Right now.
Oh, thanks.
It's good.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
it's,
really good.
like
You did
never
not
to-
disappoint. No.
never to be equaled. It was like lightning in a bottle. It was like such an amazing. The guys you see in the movie generally are the guys that were there at the random firehouse that the city sent us to on our first day, like
Mhm.
Dave Parnell, the driver, and
So you did this through the city? You went through the city to do this?
yeah, we had to.
Okay.
The film would have been unreleasable otherwise. So it took
Okay.
about a year to negotiate with the city,
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
and it went from like the first meeting of them just yelling at us to like somehow this is really I gotta give like this is all Brenna. She was from the city and had the passion and knew all the right things to say and just like wore them down. And
Dope.
they sent us to that firehouse. Didn't even tell the guys we were coming. And
God.
now I'm like, 10 years later, like great friends with a lot of them, and I've gone to weddings and funerals, and
Yeah.
yeah, it was an amazing story, and we just fell in love with the guys, and luckily so many other people did too. So ultimately, the whole movie was funded with charitable donations, and if you saw the movie, it's massive. I mean, we
Yeah.
shot
It's
for
huge.
a year.
Yeah.
It had 3 editors. Because it was so dangerous, we had to have the same insurance policy Transformers had when they shot in Detroit.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was like a $5 million policy, which, by the way, would mean we'd have to destroy like 10 city blocks to cover that. And so we finished the movie, big movie, 235 widescreen, amazing soundtrack, like White Stripes and
So good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and the
good.
Stooges and all these great
Mhm.
Detroit bands, and premiered it at the Tribeca Film Festival. Super amazing reviews, won the audience award. Like
Nice.
we were like, here we go, we're gonna sell the movie, and then we got like one offer, which was like $35,000 worldwide, all media.
Wow.
We're like, oh my god, I can't believe it. This is the hardest movie to make and
Yeah.
get distributed.
Yeah.
And so we ended up releasing it ourselves,
Good for you.
and we were over the course of like a year and a half, released it theatrically in 170 cities. It became one of the highest grossing documentaries and self-distributed movies of all time.
Yeah.
Nice.
Came up with like a new release strategy that we've been using since then on like The Dark Divide and the United States of Insanity. And like, yeah, I'm just so proud of that movie, not just because of how the movie turned out, but just like every time something terrible happened, we figured out how to
You
turn it
found a
into
way to get through it.
something
Yeah.
positive.
And
This is
that's,
incredible.
and that's
but
what
I mean,
everybody
it is.
needs to do.
It is an amazing. I mean, it is an amazing story that you told, and an amazing movie. I loved it.
Absolutely. But
We couldn't
Thank
stop.
you.
yeah, the stuff that you learned from it, though, man. And
Yeah.
even the relationships you gained. That's priceless. It's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
5
And I'm definitely some tears were falling.
Yeah.
I mean, like there's some. Yeah, it's heartbreaking what they deal with.
So you did a 5-day shoot, you said, for that pretty
For the
much
sizzle reel.
for the sizzle reel, right?
For the very first shoot. Yeah, which that opening, I'm trying to think. I think the opening fire was from that first
Okay.
5-day shoot, actually.
Gotcha. And so you man up your gear and your cameras, and the team goes in.
So it's a combination of things. We put helmet cameras on the firefighters.
Okay.
And then we shot with a combination. They had just come out at the time with Canon 5Ds, where people are like, can you make a movie with those?
Yeah.
And
Yes.
ultimately, we ended up shooting most of the movie with the 5Ds and the helmet cams. So I had come out of action sports, and this was really similar, where you have to direct multiple cameras, and there's a lot of fast moving stuff, and you don't have a second shot at anything.
No. Yeah.
So we would have helmet cameras on the firefighters, and who like we can't tell them what to do, but you put them on like
Can
6
you look?
or 8
Can you go
guys.
left?
Well, here's the thing, because they're all type A guys.
Okay.
But they started asking to watch dailies, and they would come back and like watch them with us after the fire and like be really hard on themselves. But then they would be like, okay, man, I'm gonna hold the shot longer next time before we go in.
Dude, badass. I love him.
You're like, no.
I love them. They want to look like badasses. I totally get it. Like, dude, you should look at
Yeah.
me. Look cool at me in the camera so I can put a slow-mo on you when you do it. Check. Just look at my helmet. Yeah, I can. Just look at my helmet.
Oh, that's so.
You'd be watching footage like, because we shot like 1,000 hours, and all of a sudden you'd hear the guy with the helmet camera be like, Tom's really gonna like that one.
See?
Oh my
so
god,
cool,
you can make a whole
dude.
movie with those guys. And then
Yeah.
we had a combination of guys from the action sports world and then traditional documentary DPs to shoot like the A camera stuff
Okay.
and the interviews and give like the context for those fires. It ended up being a good match.
Wow. Yeah.
Very impressive. I tell anyone who is listening that has not seen Burn yet, watch Burn.
Yeah, go check that
Please
out.
Watch that. It's so good.
Yeah, when I was watching it with Sam last night, I was just thinking to myself, I'm like, well, maybe the firefighters already had the gear and they were just doing the stuff, and it was like archive footage.
Yeah,
and
he thought it was.
I was like, there's no way that they're going in those
He
fires,
did
but
say
you
that.
fucking did. You guys did.
It was a lot.
He sent the firefighters in with the cameras. It's not like he was right
Oh.
behind him going.
Well, they were going in it.
Well, I don't
Oh,
know. Go ahead.
We went into a few, and
Did
then
you?
people would be like, "Get out! The basement's still on fire."
Oh no.
I'm gonna die. I have a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No shit.
No. That's
But did you get the
Yeah.
shot?
Yeah, that was a lot of that. I mean, I'd made a movie before that out in like the Aleutians in Alaska, where we got stuck in an unmarked minefield and everybody on the crew got injured. And it was like,
Whoa.
I don't know. Apparently, I'm that guy that ends up. The Dark Divide, the fiction film I did not too far from you guys,
Yeah.
was like ended up being more dangerous than Burn. I mean, we were like hanging David Cross off of cliffs and shooting in lava tunnels underground with like rocks falling from the ceiling. It's,
Holy shit,
Oh,
dude.
yeah, we
you
gotta
know.
watch that one, and which we're excited to go back and do
Yeah.
because of the two we
We'll,
watched.
we'll check it out maybe.
We are
tonight.
gonna check that one out. Yes.
I'm such a pussy.
Yeah, you are.
We do we do the giant Pacific Octopus documentary with Sam and our other filmmaking buddy. He's got his scuba stuff, so he knows how to go underwater and shoot underwater.
He's our underwater cinematographer.
Yeah, and I'm like, great, good, because
Great.
I don't know how else we were gonna get it besides stock footage, because I am not going in the water. I am not going under that fucking water. So
I would've.
I remember I was just telling Ryan this. He's our cinematographer guy, and I was telling him, I was like, dude, I remember the first time we went out to Sun Rock. And he started walking out into the water, and I'm following him with the gimbal. I'm filming all the scuba guys going out, and I'm shooting all this. And as soon as his feet hit the water, my asshole puckered. It really did. And I stopped like, oh shit. And then I just stood there watching him, and I'm filming, but I'm actually watching him. And I forgot I was filming. I literally was just standing there watching them, and then they went under, and I was like, "Fuck, we're never gonna see them again. They're gone. They're bye. They're dead. They're dead."
It's like out of sight, out of mind. He's like, oh, he's gone.
Tom, it was scary. So I can. How did you actually go in with a camera to any of the fires yourself?
I did, and then I got yelled at, and then I stood outside
Okay.
the fires. I mean, hey, Detroit firefighters, their barometer for what's dangerous is like enormously out of whack at this point.
I bet.
Well,
I
we
bet.
can say that for sure,
No.
since their idea of fighting fires means going into the building, shoot the water out.
Yeah, they don't fuck around. Yeah.
Like that is.
Dude, Kurt Russell would love them. He'd be like, yeah, they're like bull all the way around. They're gangster
Yeah.
backdraft guys. Yeah.
The guys that scare me are when you see the guys go on the roof,
Yes.
and they're just like chainsawing through the roof, and then, we'll zoom out, or I'll be standing there, and there's just the whole building's on fire.
Yeah.
They're on a
Yeah.
little island of the roof.
And you just feel like it's all gonna
Making
fall.
holes. They're
Yeah.
on the roof making holes for the fire to come up.
The
But
bravery.
once you go to a few of them, I mean, I've been to like obviously hundreds of these structure fires. You start to see it's kind of in this amazing, finely tuned machine where they don't even have to talk to each other a lot of the time. Everybody knows exactly what to do, and
That's
they've
that
been to so
brotherhood.
many of these. Yeah, I mean, you do 5,000 of a thing, you're either going to get good at it or you're not going to be around anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. Well,
Amazing.
that's
It's-
fucking
it's-
amazing.
it's
Yeah.
incredible.
So yeah, that was our first watch last night, Tom.
Yeah.
And it was great. And the first thing I go is technically and filmmaking wise, it's gorgeous, and you're a badass filmmaker, dude.
Yeah.
You really
Thanks,
are.
man.
Yeah. And how did you get into documentary filmmaking per se?
I went to college. I went to college at USC. I moved down to LA from Portland, and like film nerd guy. And I ended up getting 2 degrees, one in film and television production and one in journalism. And it was like a huge toss up for me. Oh, what do I want to do? Which have both turned out to be terrible career choices. But documentaries were a perfect way to put those together. I had a film I wanted to do about this Japanese invasion of Alaska during World War II, but it was going to be way too expensive to do as a narrative film.
Okay.
So I ended up doing it as like my first documentary and had a great experience, and was like, there's no actors, so it's automatically like 50% easier than doing a fiction film.
Yeah.
And coming from somewhat of a journalism background, I love that the unknown stuff happens every day. And
Yeah.
that's sort of bobbing and weaving that you have to do to still get footage that works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that totally makes sense, because you're doing more than just making a film. You're saying something. It's an educational piece that you're doing one way or another. Sharing these stories, especially like the firefighters, is
Well,
you know,
even- and
people
the
are
other
unaware, honestly, of a lot of stuff. That's
Yeah.
I mean, that's where we're coming from with ours. So that's what's so cool about it. Like we all know that firefighters are badasses, but to see how real they really are.
In
that stuff
Detroit,
is
like you
great.
said, like the
Yeah, we
place-
don't know their like
we had no
vehicles.
idea.
Yeah, like their vehicles are all fucked. You know, my man's
There's
put
that
duct
one-
tapes on his boots. You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, one of them catches on fire while we're filming in the movie. You're like, the fire truck's not
Oh
supposed to.
yeah, we saw
What?
it. Yeah.
I know, it's crazy.
The fire truck's on fire.
Yeah. You put us there, man. That's
Yeah.
what's so cool about it.
Yeah, I learned so much.
Yeah.
And I had no idea. I had no idea that it was ever like that.
Mm-mm,
Yeah.
mm-mm.
I wouldn't have known.
No. Like
Which
I
I
said,
imagine most people wouldn't have. Maybe unless you were from there. I mean, even from there, you might not have known.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
Yeah.
I think we always assume, oh, well, our first responders are taken care of.
Right.
But I think I've also learned that anytime we as a society call people heroes,
Mhm.
something very bad is happening to them. I mean, whether you look at veterans
Yeah,
or
you're
first
right, you're
responders or medical healthcare workers. I mean,
the
for
sad
me,
truth.
I come from a long line of like failed adventurers. So it's for me, it's just this amazing way to go to places I would never be able to go, meet people I would never be able to meet, get sort of a get out of jail free card, because
Right.
when you show up with a camera, you get to do all kinds of crazy stuff. And I mean, I love going to places that are a little bit risky and meeting people I would think I have nothing in common with, and then being like, "Oh, you're awesome!"
Right.
and sharing that with an audience.
Yeah,
right?
that was
like,
the next movie for me.
yeah.
I'm definitely not a juggalo, but I really appreciated that story. I really did. There's
Thanks.
so
Good
many.
segue.
There's so many lessons.
It was a
in
good
there.
segue.
Yeah.
No, you're right, Sam.
No, that's true, right?
Yeah, totally
Yeah.
true. It's crazy too that I've never been a fan or even listened to any of their music before, not ever.
No.
And watching that, I got more out of that one than I actually did. It related more to what we're doing,
Right.
if that makes sense. As filmmakers,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
we're trying to do something. You're going to deal with negativity. You're going to deal with, people talking shit. You're going to deal with, pushback and heartbreak and failure and then struggles and then rising and falling and that ride you take as an artist. And that's what was so cool listening to their story, because those motherfuckers are gangster. I mean, they fought through some shit.
Not
like-
literal gangsters, y'all.
No.
Can't use that term.
Very important.
Carlson, come on.
That's very
take that back,
important.
take- yeah,
Apparently somebody fell asleep
But
during
I'm-
that documentary.
I'm black though. I mean, gangster is a good term in the black community. You're a badass
It's
if
a
you're a
compliment.
gangster.
Aaron's
Yeah.
saying it is a compliment.
It's in a complimentary way.
But-
I'm not the FBI here.
And these guys, these guys are selling this so well, because I come from I've worked with the Insane Clown Posse when it comes to being backstage for their shows and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And so it was like when I saw that one on the list, I was like, well, I'm not fucking watching that one. But after listening to these guys after they watch it, I will probably be watching that one this year.
Yeah, you will.
You need to
have to.
Charles,
'Cause-
you need to watch it
Yeah.
because you will have a whole new appreciation.
Yeah, and you will get something out of it that will relate to everything that we're doing.
Well, of course. And,
That's
and,
what's so
and we
cool.
always do.
And
But,
finding their audience,
Right.
Not their gang, but their fucking
Their
audience.
audience.
and you know what?
Well,
And it's terminology. The FBI gets stuck on terminology.
No,
These are my people.
people,
These are my
well,
gang.
people.
yeah, I mean, I think that movie shows a lot of the shortcomings of the FBI.
It does.
Yeah, it does.
Or what happens when you try to legislate taste. So, did people know what the movie is?
No, not yet.
outside?
Please
No,
tell the
yeah,
audience, because
please,
we
yeah.
usually jump the gun. So go
Yeah,
ahead.
we just totally.
We just keep talking.
Tom, just run the show for us. Which
Yeah, would you-
No.
we need some
You're
some
better at
direction
it.
here.
We're just going around the room.
We're going around the reel here.
Yeah. So the movie's called The United States of Insanity, and we spent, again, Brenna Sanchez and I, we made Burn. We spent 7 years with the Insane Clown Posse, who, if people don't know them, they are
Everyone knows.
generally regarded as the most hated band in the world, often voted the worst band in the history of music,
Yeah.
and yet they have 1 million fans that
Yeah.
love them, and they've been doing this for 30 years as of this year, and that's felt really unusual. And for us, Brenna had again grown up in Detroit, edited a number of major music magazines, so she was really familiar with the band. I knew as much as most people, right? Like the
Right.
Miracles video or
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the SNL skits and stuff.
Mhm.
And we called them up and said, well, first of all, we finished Burn and we're like, how are we going to follow this up? Riding around on fire trucks and watching things blow up. Like, that was so exciting. And then,
So
Brenna had read-
naturally, you went
to the Insane
Yeah.
Clown Posse.
Makes sense.
Where else would you go?
Well, yeah. So Brenna showed me an article she had read where it was like, it was really interesting. It was about how a lot of the stuff that we were struggling with, hey, these guys have been at it a long time. They're trying to figure out how to keep going. And she called them up and said, just cold called their office and said, hey, I think we might be interested in making a movie about you. And they said, can you have a crew here tomorrow? Because we're having a press conference and announcing we're suing the FBI, which is that
No
first
kidding.
scene in the movie.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then we were like, cool. And then we went down and just said, hey, let's just have an interview before we even like write up anything, just to see if you like us and if there's a story here. That's the second scene in the movie.
Right.
And they were really not at all what I thought. I felt like, oh wow, they're like the music version of the much more hardcore music version of like what we're all doing, where
Yeah.
all the traditional gatekeepers have said no, what you're
Yeah.
doing doesn't have value, nobody wants to hear this,
Right.
Yeah.
and they just like thugged it out.
Yeah.
And
They totally
That's a
did.
term I understand. That's a good term, Chuck.
That I didn't say.
Oh, okay. Just
Just because I'm the whitest person you know doesn't mean I'm the whitest guy out there.
yeah. I'm just making sure you understood what Tom was talking about. I'm with you, Tom. Go ahead.
But it was also like, if you watch the first half of the movie, it's like this amazing American success story, right? Here's guys with a 10th grade education
It is.
who made all their childhood dreams come true in a way that I think is incredibly rare.
Yeah,
And then they've
yeah.
created this whole fantasy world that 1 million people live in.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't think of a lot of other people. There's like Star Wars, Marvel, Harry Potter, Disney. I mean, there's not a lot of other people who've pulled that off. And we just fell in love with that. And then to find out that the band and all 1 million of their fans were declared a gang by the FBI, which has never happened to a fan base before.
No.
Super weird.
I mean, that each of those stories I think would have been incredible, but to be able to do both of those has been really cool because people, the movie played on, this is a complete coincidence, 666 screens back in October. I was like, really? Was that planned?
for real?
And you said back in October?
That's perfect.
Yeah, back in October.
Wow.
Yeah.
So funny.
And it's been really cool to see people go in and are like, they come in maybe because they heard of the ACLU thing or something.
Yeah.
We knew the Juggalos would go see it.
Yeah, yeah, for
Juggalos
sure.
are what their fans call themselves. But I love seeing other people come out of it and they come and afterwards they talk to you and they're like, I think I might be a Juggalo.
Right.
Like they like the same stuff I like.
Yeah.
Right.
The gathering seems super fun, a
Yeah.
little nudie, but
Yeah.
and people get really mad because turns out the FBI has no official criteria for what makes a gang. There's this sort of unofficial 3-item checklist of which
Oh yeah.
Is that what
The
they sent
band or
them
their-
in the movie?
no, I mean this is just based on what the experts have said.
Okay, got it,
It's
got it.
totally arbitrary. And 3-item checklist, the band maybe checks 2 of the 3 items, which by the way apply to any fan base, music, sports teams, church youth group. Like
Wow.
if you're a group of people with a single name and a symbol identifier,
Mm-hmm.
you could be declared a gang. And
So
I
since they called themselves the
Posse.
Juggalos, basically,
Yeah.
their fans,
Yeah.
they got classified that way.
Well, they.
and they have a Hatchet Man symbol and they have a symbol.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Now, didn't in the documentary you mentioned there was a few people that committed some crimes, they did a few
Yep.
things, and then they kind of rolled into, that woke out. They're calling themselves juggalos, and then they go and they do a heinous
Right.
crime.
There's,
yeah.
there's bad
Yeah.
seeds in every. Yeah, we got
so
it.
imagine if like someone did a crime and they were a Trekkie. From Star Trek.
Exactly.
Right.
That's
If
exactly.
they
And
did
then
a
all the Star
crime-
Trek keys
If
got
they did a crime, it'd
labeled
be a
as a gang.
Klingon.
That would be the most ridiculous thing, and that's kind of where this documentary is talking about, especially from their audience and where they're coming from. It's like these are just fans; these are just people. That's what's so fucking funny about it. It's just so stupid.
And we get into it in the movie, like there's gangs that wear Cincinnati gear. I
Yep.
mean, I'm in LA, but there's a lot of Dodgers gear. And
Yeah.
A lot
Does
of the
that mean-
gangs, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Does that mean all Dodgers fans
Right.
are,
Yeah.
Raiders fans, maybe, but Dodgers fans, I feel like you can't say they're all gang members.
No, it's priceless when you show the old lady in the. I was like,
Oh, yeah.
yes.
Yeah, one of the people in the doc said something that was really, really great. It was profound actually, because it makes all the sense in the world. And she's in and out of the doc really quick. It was just a fan.
Spoiler alert.
But she did say something that made sense. It's like, their lyrics are pretty hardcore, but they're hardcore lyrics about violence. Okay. But all the violent movies that are out there where you
Video
see
games.
and hear all the violence in front of it, and video games too, and everything is like fine. We're fine with that. But if you got a group of people out there talking about violent acts in a song, that gets labeled. And it's like, well, yeah, why is that? That's the dumbest thing in the world. That doesn't make any sense.
Especially like as a horror movie fan.
Correct.
I just came back from Baton Rouge filming paramedics for a new project. And one of the things that sort of pleasantly surprised me was, turns out they all love horror movies.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Gee, guess why? It's cathartic, right?
Well, I
Yes,
mean,
it is.
Right.
you gotta love blood, I guess, to be one. So.
Yeah, but I think it's also a way to, like, if you experience trauma in your life,
Yes. It's an
I
outlet.
mean, is The Little Mermaid going to, like, help you work through that trauma?
Probably
No,
not.
bro.
No.
No, nobody can hit those notes.
No.
Exactly.
No. I never met more sick in my life when I watched that movie. It did not help me at all. I'm not a Disney cartoon guy, but anyway, sorry. I digress. Let's get back into it. Yeah, horrible.
Yeah. Can you digress a little more?
Just digress out of the room.
I mean, one of the things I liked about doing that movie was just, like, being able to put so many pop culture references in,
Yeah.
which is kind of my journey. Like, oh, cool. They like all the same movies I like. Their references are the same.
Yeah.
And then you start to like hear hopefully what's really going on in the music. Or like the guys say, if the music sounds like garbage to you, it's not for you.
Right.
And how is that anybody's business?
Right.
At the end of the day.
Yeah.
So,
I love that. I love the movie references that you did in that movie because it really put in perspective for people that don't necessarily know the band and know what they're about. It put it in perspective, like for everybody.
Yeah,
I guess because we all know those movies.
Yeah, it ties them together good. So that's a great filmmaker point that you're making there, for especially as a documentary person. So how do you go and get away with putting in clips from other major films in your documentary?
Yeah, there's a thing called fair use.
Yes.
Which for people who don't know, in documentaries, if you're using a clip from an existing piece of media within a certain narrow context, you're allowed to use that without licensing it because it's commenting on or illustrating or being repurposed. And we have
it's a teaching tool.
We have like 600 of those. Where I'm pretty sure we're the only movie to have clips from E.T. and the Driller Killer in like the same.
That's cool shit. It's cool shit.
Yeah, for real.
I'm glad you explained it because that's the one thing when we had to learn when we were making our doc. There's if you do it really quick and really short, you're probably going to be okay.
Well, and it also sort of depends on the context. Like we have a 30 second continuous clip from the Warriors, but that's also because like the guy talking is like, it was just like the Warriors, and he literally his order of events he explained is exactly what happens in the movie. And if you were to watch it again, like on the back of the Warriors jackets, we digitally replaced the Warriors. It says Inner City Posse, which was the name of their first band.
I missed that. Shit. Okay, that's cool. Okay.
So it was a lot of attorney talks to sort of like figure out how to
utilize
get through
it.
all that. But how do you make a movie about those guys without like just bombing people with all of the things that made them who they are?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. It's a point well made though with that. The way that you told or the way that you made the points in there or the way that you intertwined things to make everyone basically be able to understand what these guys are going through is like incredible. I love
absolutely
that.
And the pop culture thing is just a great reference points for exactly what you're saying when they're talking and referencing to these things. It takes it to a different level. I mean, your whole film is on another level now because of all that's going on there with Hollywood stuff and what made them be who they are. It's beautiful, dude.
Thanks.
Yeah, I love that.
I loved it too. And I think it's something that anybody, and I was very leery because I don't really care for the Insane Clown Posse. I'm sorry, guys.
No, I didn't.
But I don't really
You don't
care.
apologize to me.
I don't really care for their music. Not really. I know I've never really paid much attention to their journey or anything. I just thought they were kind of cheesy and okay.
Yeah.
But no, there's something actually for everybody in that, and I was so impressed how you were able to bring that kind of together to where anyone can get something out of that. Like there's definitely something for everybody in that movie, and I don't think that if you don't like the Insane Clown Posse, don't not watch it because of that.
Right.
Because
there are stories to learn and
so much,
things to learn from every story.
Absolutely.
Told.
And you have a new appreciation for them anyway.
Absolutely, yeah. I like them now.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah, they're badass. They don't fuck around.
Are we juggalos?
Yeah, I don't know, but I'd be proud.
I'm
to
a
be
juggalo. I just want to go to the show.
Yeah, and they don't give a shit. I love them. They're gangster. No, not gangster.
They're not gangsters.
I'm sorry.
Jesus,
yeah, they're just badasses. I love them.
I love how they give outsiders and people that aren't necessarily popular or have dealt with a lot of crap or maybe been bullied or whatever. They're outside people that don't, they don't have feel necessarily a part of something. They can feel a part of something with them, and I love that.
Super fun.
It's how is that a bad thing?
It's not a bad thing at all. No, absolutely not.
Yeah, I think there's one of the interview subjects. She's in the movie a couple times. Talks about how it's not a coincidence. It happened to a band who has a fan base that socioeconomically is on the low end of the ladder. I mean, I think really it's a look at how we try to legislate taste and how America feels about and like hates poor people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Huh, that's an excellent point.
Both those stories, they're great. They're great. So great. You told them so well.
Let me ask you,
We're so impressed.
Tom, when you had to go first and do that first interview, were you nervous?
Yeah, I was nervous.
Like in the way I'd be nervous. Like I'm like, dude,
I mean-
these guys are fucking crazy. I'm scared to go in here, bro.
It's the Insane Clown Posse. The
Yeah.
label's called Psychopathic Records.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, I was more nervous about the gathering because I'd heard like so many stories about like, oh yeah, we went there and people threw their shit at us.
Right.
Like,
Feces, by the way, people, not just like the crap they have in their hands. The
Yeah,
actual crap.
exactly.
Yeah.
Or like, oh yeah, you go there, someone's gonna walk up to you and ask you a trivia question, and if you give them the wrong answer, they're gonna stab you.
What the fuck?
And I gotta say, like, we went there. It was the nicest, most polite, please and thank you. Hey, can we help you carry your gear? Like, it was the nicest group of people I've ever been around. And then we spent time, it's a little bit in the movie, with the law enforcement who were there.
Mm-hmm.
And the local sheriffs are like, these guys are great. No arrests, no nothing. They hate the people they are terrified of is the country music fans. So like, we get those
That's
guys
what I've
there.
heard.
And it's like drunk driving, assaults, attempted rapes. Like,
Craziness.
they're like, these guys are great. They just want to be left alone to do their thing.
Yeah.
The ATF guys who showed up, that we have that scene, they didn't feel that way. But
No, that is a
also-
good scene.
yeah,
No
they also
giveaways
kinda
there.
got
You gotta
what
watch
was
the movie.
coming to them. Yeah.
Man, I would have been terrified walking in, but I could see exactly your point. That's normally the way it is, with when you're uncomfortable with meeting somebody that you've heard stuff about, you know. And
Yeah, it's a good lesson though, right?
Yeah.
It is,
It
man.
is.
It really
Absolutely.
is. We learn that all the time. We talked about it on our last show too, with certain people that you see in the filmmaking community that, you know, potentially you could work with one day, and you don't know them. You've never talked to them. You just see what they're kind of doing or putting out there. And sometimes people rub you the wrong way for whatever reason. Like there's a few people that hate me. I wonder
Some
why.
with reason.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Imagine.
They
The
don't
guy
know.
at the bar, John Kerry.
Yeah, they're like, that guy. Fuck that guy.
We're giving him way too much talk on the show,
I
by
know.
the way, for somebody who's such a dick.
Yeah, I'm glad he even remembered a name. He said John Kerry. I was about to say, who the
know.
fuck is that? I always forget.
I never
I
remember.
always forget. But yeah, it's weird that we can do that. And then you end up meeting them and you're like, they're not so bad at all. I'm an idiot. That's how you
kinda-
feel.
well,
And some
that
people
just
you get
happened
so
to us.
excited to meet, and you're like, God, what a douche.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah, I
That
like
is
how you
true.
literally pointed at me when you said that.
No, that is
I'm
so
sorry.
not
It's just
true.
it was
Yeah.
not. It's just I'm just pointing in general. I don't
No,
know where
it's
you
cool.
are
I'm
on
used
the
to it.
screen.
I think he was pointing at Aaron.
No, Tom's thug life. He don't give a shit. He's badass.
He's gangster.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Plus,
you-
like the movie played some horror film festivals,
Okay.
and it's like those are like the nicest, sweetest people ever.
Of course.
You know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they really are.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
great.
The
It's
demented folk want to be left alone. Trust me, I know.
Well, it's got a lot to do with fans of those kind of genres, I think, are people that have dealt with tragedies and horrible things in their life, and that is kind of a way that's an outlet for them. That's
Yeah.
just a way to kind of deal with it. I mean, heavy metal is the same way, and I'm not a heavy metal fan either, but heavy metal fans seem to be extremely nice people, like very nice people, but they go to these heavy metal concerts and they get out all their like
Yeah, you got to get it
anger,
out.
you know, like, they-
you got to get it out. You need an outlet.
throw each
Sa-
other at themselves, and
Absolutely.
Sam, what are you a fan of?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Good question,
Oh,
Tom.
All you're doing
Make-
is
Like,
talking
I'm
about
not a
what you're
fan of it.
And leave me out of this, Sam. I'm not in this.
Make
one.
me
oh my
fun of
gosh,
Aaron.
It's too obvious.
that's something I've actually never been asked
Making
because
fun
I
of
usually
Aaron.
don't talk as much shit as I am, but I literally love everything else in the world. I don't. No, heavy metal's too loud for me. That's all.
So his question was, what
What are you a fan of?
What are you a fan
He
of?
didn't
I
answer.
just said literally everything.
Give him one thing you love.
Top 3.
Everything. So like
Animals.
Okay.
Go. Yep, she loves animals.
very general.
Yeah,
It is general. She loves
Well, I love
injured.
all animals.
How about
Possums? I like
injured
possums.
injured animals?
Oh yeah,
You
yeah,
like
yeah.
she likes repairing things.
I like special
I'm sorry, this
needs.
is Sam. You're supposed to be answering.
Well,
Shut
I
up,
like
Chuck.
special needs.
You're a huge music fan.
I am a huge music fan.
Yeah, you can't skip out
I
on
mean,
that.
you wouldn't know it because I'm like, I don't like her. I don't like.
Well, give
Sing
me
Clown
what
Posse.
right now. What's in your head, music wise? What?
Oh my
give me-
gosh, music wise, it's country, but just in general, I
I heard
don't
they're
have
really bad.
specific-
Very bad.
Yeah, they're very
they're
bad fans.
Yeah.
My aunt said that actually.
Yeah.
She does.
Oh, I hate country shows. They drove
Yeah,
me
that's
nuts.
what she said. They're the worst. I
that's
said,
what she said.
it's not
That-
rap. She goes, no, it's not rap. It's control.
That and late aged hair bands, because those guys thinking they could still drink is funny and hard to deal with.
Oh man.
Dude, I love them.
No, the bands are great. It's the
okay.
fans that suck.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, they're just holding on. Yeah, they used to be like
I
quarterbacks
can
and shit
drink.
in high school. Now they're not. They're all pissed off.
Aaron Carlson.
No, not me. I'm good. I'm good.
What else, Sam?
One more.
What are your
Sam.
favorite things?
Yeah,
Come on,
one
three
more.
things.
Oh, gosh.
Country music.
Poetry. I
Poetry.
like poetry.
Poetry. See? There
Okay.
you go. So she likes some stuff.
I like
right.
everything. Except for heavy metal.
And a horrorcore rap.
And hardcore rap, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hardcore anything is a little much for me just because I'm not that hardcore.
You can be though.
What?
You can be pretty hardcore sometimes.
Well, that's because you're hardcore first.
Oh, so you react to me. You react to me.
Before we start
I
talking
defend
about an
myself.
argument again,
Oh shit! Here we go.
No, this is good. This is good.
This is fun stuff. Yeah, I know.
this is good radio.
Documentary stuff right here.
Drama, human drama.
It's the best.
Tom's recording on his side too. Let's see.
Yeah, he's not fucking around.
That's right.
All the hosts of a show lose their shit in the middle of one podcast.
That's right.
There was a point you made, Tom, earlier that I wanted to go back to because you said no one wanted your movie when you were doing Burn.
Yeah.
And you guys went out and did it on your own, and you found a release strategy. You said, can you talk to your audience a little bit about that? Because these guys, I mean, we're trying to find ours still too. So it'd be very interesting to hear what you guys were able to do.
Sure. And there's also Film Independent did a case study on it. So if people want a more detailed look, wrote a very long overview for Filmmaker magazine. If you do like a search for Burn and distribution, you can find those. In terms of the release, we felt confident we had an audience because you saw all the names of those donors.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, we felt like the movie, okay, we got some, it won Tribeca and it got these great reviews. So we felt like, okay, the movie's good. So you need money to distribute a movie. The good news is you don't need very much money. When we got that audience award at Tribeca, it came with, I think it was a $20,000 award.
Mm-hmm.
We were like, oh, did we keep the $20,000 or did we double down? And so first we grew it very slowly. We didn't know if anybody would honestly come. So what we did was the Union for Firefighters, IAFF, International Association of Firefighters, was having their annual meeting in Philadelphia. And we booked a theater near there. And we just did it like a week ahead of time. And we put the word out as best we could, just through social media. Hey, a lot of you have been waiting for the movie. It's going to be down the street. And we made some t-shirts, and I made a DVD called Too Hot for Burn. I made it in 6 hours of just 80 minutes of firefighting outtakes.
Nice.
And so we went and we sat at the theater. Will they, it's the classic thing. And we did $40,000 of business in 2 days.
Damn.
And one out of every three people who came bought another $30 of merchandise.
Wow.
Wow, dude.
So we were like, okay, that test worked really, really well.
Right.
So we just tried to take it slow and careful because we'd had all these people that donated in the movie. We'd really leveraged social media. At the point when we started that tour, I think we had 35,000 mostly Facebook fans at the time, and they were mad. I gave you $5 2 years ago. Where's the movie?
Right.
My cousin followed my fire department, and he had it on YouTube a week later. Why are you so slow? And so they were pretty mad. So what we did was and this is what I do on everything now. We found a company to partner with for the tour. So in our case, we partnered with a company called MSA. They're the biggest company you've never heard of. They make half the hard hats in the world. The Detroit Fire Department, all their tanks and masks all say MSA on them. So they gave us a little bit of money to go to, hey, let's do an experiment. Let's go to 12 cities. Came out of their marketing budget. And we gave them like a presence. We made a little like sort of commercial for them to play before the movie, and they could have signage up. And it was like, hey, let's see if like this is like a cool way for us to market stuff. Plus, like we're bringing a movie that they want to see.
Right.
And it did awesome. We ended up over the course of it going, like I say, playing 170 cities. We did what's called four-walling, where we would rent the theater. Renting a theater on a weekend's terrible. It's expensive. But you go to a theater on a Tuesday or a Thursday night,
Monday night.
you basically pay like, we had a rule that we never paid. The rental price was never more than like $2.25 a seat. And we were charging $20 a ticket. And we sold out more than 90% of our shows.
Damn.
Typical theater size was 500 up to 2,500 seats.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And we hauled this merchandise all around. Yeah, people love t-shirts.
They love them.
I
And,
love it.
and those stupid Too Hot for Burn DVDs that I spent one day on, we've done like 60,000 units. It's
Holy
crazy.
shit,
It's like
see?
the best day's work I ever had in my life.
That's awesome.
And so, I mean, the movie's still 10 years later now. I mean, I went to the post office yesterday. People still buy it every day.
Yeah.
And so what I discovered was releasing a movie isn't that hard. You think film distributors have some secret knowledge that you don't have, and they don't. I remember at one point, the International Documentary Association had like a panel of independent distributors, and they invited us, and Brenna went up,
Okay.
who we made the film together.
Mhm.
And our one movie had outgrossed like three of those distributors put together with their entire slates. Like,
Wow.
they don't know any more than you. And in fact, as the filmmaker, you know your audience. You're going to
Yes.
spend the time that nobody else will spend. And that's really what it comes down to, is time. We've talked to so many people who want to do that model. And then once you explain what it actually takes in terms of just like
The work.
you're traveling to every theater, you're
Mhm.
booking the theater, that's your $500. It's not going to get paid back if people don't show
If
up.
they don't come.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I can count on one hand the number of filmmakers who like actually decided to do it
Oh, I believe it.
after
Yeah.
hearing what's involved. But I'm someone, I have an MBA, and I'm always trying to think about, like, I just got it over the pandemic because I'm like, how do I make this into a living? You know,
Mhm.
I drive a $1,600 car that I got from a tow yard. Like,
Same.
and to make it sustainable, like, the movies have to make money, and you have to figure out how to market them without a big budget.
Yes.
So is this kind of what you guys wanted to know?
It's
Oh,
exactly.
This is
Yeah.
everything
You just
we
keep
wanted
talking.
to know, and then some.
If you ever hear us quiet, it's good.
Yeah.
Good. It means that everybody should be paying attention.
So we did this. I mean, the movie made like $1.2 million, and like did another like $400,000 in merchandise. Great, you know.
That's fantastic. buddy.
But I started thinking, is this a one-off? I mean, firefighters are really unique, right? They all talk to each other. Nobody made a real firefighting documentary. They're unique in that when you play in a theater, you know where your fans are. They're in firehouses, and we literally had paid interns that just called every firehouse. Like, hey, Burn's coming. Can I email you a flyer? Will you put it up in your firehouse? There's not a lot of other groups that do that, unless you're fans of a band like Insane Clown Posse, where you're really into it. Oh, and we worked with the ACLU, who have a mailing list, who are very interested in things dealing with First Amendment rights. So
Yeah.
that followed the model as well, except it was during the pandemic. So we ended up doing it as a Fathom event,
Okay.
because I mean, releasing a movie in the pandemic is like, it's not for the faint of heart.
No.
But then I got to wondering, hey, is this going to work on the fiction side of things? Because I make documentaries, but I'm also a fiction filmmaker.
Right.
So I had optioned a book called The Dark Divide, which is written by a guy from Southern Washington. His name's Robert Pyle. He's one of America's foremost nature writers. And you read it, and it's like the least commercial story ever. It's a shy lepidopterist, that's an expert in butterflies and poetry, Sam, who takes a month-long journey through the Gifford-Pinchot National Forest in Southern Washington after his wife dies of cancer, and like has these Bigfoot encounters. And
No shit.
it seemed like the least commercial thing ever, but then put into that model I was just talking about, it's a well-known writer, an audience of people who love the outdoors. We then partnered with a group called the National Wildlife Federation, America's largest environmental nonprofit. We put certain key things in the film, which made the film better. I didn't do anything I didn't want to do. We had control over the movie. That also, we're going to activate their 7 million members. Then we cast the film with people you wouldn't maybe normally expect. It stars David Cross, Deborah Messing, David Koechner, Patterson Hood from Drive By Truckers, because they're amazing. They were the people, my favorite choices for the roles, which you normally never get. But in this case, audiences are used to coming out to see David's comedy shows, or seeing David Koechner, or going to Patterson Hood shows. And then the Avett Brothers and Chris Novoselic from Nirvana did the music. And
Dope.
so what we did was I got to make the movie I wanted to make, but I got to cast it with all these people who had brought large audiences to it, who were used to coming out to events, which we then partnered with REI Co-op, who put money into the movie, to basically do what we did with MSA on Burn, to be our sponsor for the same roadshow tour we were going to do. And that worked out really well until about a week before we were going to start playing film festivals. Everything shut down for the COVID pandemic.
Right.
And it all went away. But what happened, unlike all of my other friends whose movies are still not released 2 years later because they have no control over what happens to the movies, here we had this huge built-in audience, and people were cooped up in their house month after month. Wow, I can see something that takes me on this amazing journey through one of America's most beautiful wildernesses with David Cross.
Yeah.
So because we had that audience, we were at the height of the pandemic able to release the film on 102 screens, which at that point I think was about half of the open screens in America. More than 50% of the theaters extended the movie from 3 to 5 weeks.
Okay.
Because of COVID?
Because people were coming to see it.
Somebody was
Because
making
people
money.
It was responding to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
they were getting traffic. Yeah.
Yeah. And did it make a fortune? No. But in terms of the pandemic, I think it did better than just about anything that wasn't released by a studio or major indie.
Yeah, I believe it.
Sounds like a
So
success.
hey, if you're acting as a distributor as well, you got the say-sos in it. And that to me is, I think, the future of filmmaking is making. I went and got my MBA, and it's the first thing they teach you is make sure you have a market for what you're making, right?
Yep,
and I've been a film festival programmer at Slamdance and different places, and I made movies that I'm making my 9th feature right now. Believe me, I made movies that features I spent years on that maybe 50 people saw. And what I realized was I have a lot of ideas. What are the ideas I'm really excited about that I also can identify large, easy to reach audiences where I can make something entertaining, but also has a give back component.
Yeah.
So I can partner with a nonprofit and has an important message that people are going to want to share. In the case of firefighters, one of the things that happened was we started booking 2 nights in each city because firefighters would come the first night, and the next night they'd all bring their families or their friends or the mayor or their city council members, because they were this had something they wanted to share. You guys saw the United States of Insanity. All the juggalos are finally I could show my family what this is about. Or
Right.
Yeah.
in the case of the ACLU or other groups dealing with First Amendment issues,
Yeah.
this could happen to us
Yes.
if we're not careful.
Yeah.
Dark Divide deals with logging and a number of environmental issues, as well as issues that I didn't realize had such big audiences even when we were making it. We partnered with the Ovarian Cancer Society, and they have a big thing about the role of caregivers for women who have cancer, which is what Robert Pyle was, and that's a big part of the movie. So it's about making the movie you want to make, for me anyway, figuring out how to have control over the movie, which is hard, right? Because he who has the pesos has the say-sos. And
No lie.
yeah, what?
I said that's no lie.
No. And being able to figure out how to distribute it. It's harder and harder now, right?
Yeah.
Amazon isn't going to buy it. Netflix
No.
isn't going to buy it. Hulu isn't going to buy it. iTunes numbers have fallen
Dropped
through the
like
floor.
crazy.
I mean, Yeah, you can put it on Tubi, ad-free revenue, and there's movies making money there, but they tend to be like horror and action movies.
Correct.
So I'm actually a big proponent of theatrical, special event theatrical. It's the only place you can guarantee someone's paying to see the movie.
Mm-hmm.
They'll pay a premium. People are never going to not want to go to theaters. I mean, since the dawn of time, we want to have a communal experience.
Right.
What are you going to take somebody on a first date and be like, come to my house and watch a Netflix? I mean, no. So,
Right.
Well, yeah, and then you end up in someone's bedroom who has a camera in there.
Yeah, Netflix
That's
and
right.
chill, baby. Yep.
whoa, that sounded like,
A personal
That
experience.
was real life with the couple in the room.
Yeah, and I met her. She came to my house, and I had I didn't have a studio, dude. The computer was in the corner, and my camera was in there.
Plugged in, editing.
Yeah, because I'm editing.
I was so scared.
DV tapes,
I was so scared.
The fucking movies we were making.
there's
all
pla-
weird.
there's
I'm
like
like,
plastic all over the floor.
Hey, Sam,
And
just
on the sheets.
sit over
Stand
here.
right there.
honey.
That's
He
right.
told me he made movies. I was like, oh, what kind?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of
It's
movies
not that
these
kind
are.
of production company.
not at all.
right.
Never has been.
Yeah, he swore to me he never made a porno, and I actually now, finally, 16 years later, I believe you.
You believe me finally. Thank you. I'm not doing that shit. That's weird.
Awesome.
Tom, everything that you are talking about is, what we stumbled on, I don't know, 5-6 years ago, maybe something like that. When we started to go, there is a way we can be filmmakers and earn a living doing this. We don't have to go to Hollywood, which
we
a lot of people think.
want to.
You shouldn't go to Hollywood.
No,
No,
you
we
shouldn't
don't
do
want
that.
to.
Yeah, it's not
Everyone's
about that.
leaving
for us.
Hollywood.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
keep my soul. I want to keep that.
Yeah, but you can be, you don't have to make a ton of money either to survive. You can be a middle class filmmaker. You can make your movies and just find a way to do exactly what you're saying. I loved everything you're talking about. There's more than just the movie making. Yes, you can make the movie you want to make, but it doesn't stop there. You become an entrepreneur. You have to do things like you're saying. You got to work.
Yeah, you got to do
But
the work.
why wouldn't you put in work for yourself and what you created instead of working for some other schmuck that's telling you what to
Right.
do, doesn't appreciate you? That's how I just made that decision last year. Like, fuck working for people. I'm done with it. There's got to be a way. We are smart enough people to figure it out. And there's people like you who have done it. And if we listen to people like you and learn from people like you, we could actually get there if we stay focused. And anybody can if they're decent at what they're doing. Some movies I see that people are making money off of and they're making a living on aren't the highest quality productions. They're not. But they're still entertaining. There's still an audience for them. You can find them.
I just talked to a guy in upstate New York who makes like four horror movies a year for like 35 grand.
Mm-hmm.
Every one of them makes money. He and his friends roll from movie to movie.
Yeah.
They take turns writing them, and they're happy.
They're
like
happy.
they're
making
doing what
money.
they want to do and making money.
That's it.
I think the key though is also you want to make sure you live somewhere where you're not going to spend $4,000 a month on rent. Like you gotta,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say over the pandemic, a third of the people I know left LA.
Yeah.
Because you can now live anywhere and make movies of
Correct.
almost any size, and it's easier almost everywhere else.
Right.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
expensive. Yeah.
That's great stuff.
So we're all coming to Tacoma.
Yeah, bro.
Come on,
Yeah.
bring it.
Jack up the prices.
Yeah,
no,
thanks.
no, we will not
I
jack
mean,
up the
they're kinda-
prices. Washington State is now offering,
They're making
tax benefits
they're
to those who
trying
want
to.
to come and
Yeah, we saw that.
film here. That's something that was a big initiative that just passed recently, so
Well,
that's awesome. But
It was
And they're
a little
really
bit of
promoting residential filmmakers. So you guys are in a great spot.
I'm hoping so.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
we're trying.
If not, I'll
are
just
trying.
keep stealing shots. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Do what I gotta do to make
yeah,
the movie.
Here's our
That's why-
script. Can we use your property? No. Fine. What time do you close?
a lot of laundromats always have great lighting.
Yes, they do. They
Yeah,
do.
seriously.
Yep, and they streetlights are on
stations.
somewhere. We'll figure it out.
No, this podcast came from the lack of credit that the Pacific Northwest gives to filmmakers just out here because there's so many of them and they're so talented and actors and everything. So I think it's underrated, but that might change soon.
Yeah, I believe so.
And there's great filmmakers now who I feel like are staying there. It used to be, right, like the Gus Van Sant model where like, oh yeah, but now they're making
Right.
big films in Hollywood. But now it was awesome. When Dark Divide we shot in Oregon and Washington. It was great to see how many people now are just there making a living
Right.
and
Yeah.
making awesome movies too.
Yep.
It's totally doable.
Used to be the music scene, and we're trying to
Make it the movie scene.
make it the movie scene.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Fuck it, we can. Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of talent out
There
there,
is.
nonetheless, just in all the arts. I mean, from music to movies to just everything.
Yeah.
There's a lot of artists out here, so it's
How-
a good place.
So when you're looking for funding, are you looking for funding locally?
Usually, we're in the position we're in right now. We're still crowdfunding. We're doing what you're doing, or did back in 2012.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where we're at. And the last 2 films that we did, we came nowhere near our goal. But that's what we learned. What we did wrong, honestly, in our campaigns. We didn't start them early enough.
We didn't start hyping them early enough to get people excited about it by the time they
It's
came
so
around.
much. Crowdfunding is so much work.
God, yeah,
It's
that
tough,
wasn't our
though.
only mistake.
Yeah,
Crowdfunding is a full-time job, and if you're only running it for a month, you've got to do something 3 times a day on it to make sure that
at
you're
least
making money.
Yep, at least.
Yeah.
And there's a lot to
Yeah.
it. But what we were able to do is realize how many people still did support us up here, and they gave us just enough to do some of the things we were hoping to have or get to do the films that we're working on now, our 2 features, and then more comes from that. The show, I mean, collaborating with everybody. That's a huge deal. I mean,
Well, and
we're
there's
giving everybody an opportunity. The show's doing so well that people want to get on it. It gets their name out there. It's exposure for them, and we're promoting these people too. So we're giving them something valuable, which I love because we're getting something from them too. So it's like this. What's the word? I love the word. Symbiotic. Oh,
Relationship.
I love that word.
Well, that's where the film community, the indie film community can be pretty abrasive at times, right? And everybody can be out for themselves, but that's where I think it really shines is when you can do something with a whole bunch of people that's so much more than if you were just trying to make it all yourself.
All by
Or
yourself.
with a
Well,
couple
and we're so against that
Yes.
whole thing that everyone's kind of out for themselves because we just don't like that. We're kind of all here. If we all join together, we can make something amazing. But if
Correct.
we are against each other, it just doesn't go good.
Yeah.
It's just not good.
Yeah.
But
It's
so
not a
we try-
competition.
We try to kind of send that message that we're all kind of here to get each other's back. And look, there's a lot of people like you now, Tom, who we're gonna look to inspire us, to help us
Yeah,
learn from
absolutely.
people like you who are making things happen. We also have Jay Horton we've learned so much from, and just there's a lot of people out there that will give you help and ideas and tricks and stuff like that, and that's what we feel like we're here for other people that are starting out and trying to
Exactly.
do something.
The experiences people have and those that make it, when they share it matters because there are people out there listening and looking for that information. So it means a lot to me, I know, to Chuck and to Sam.
Absolutely.
That you shared what you shared.
Yeah, it means
It's a big deal because there's people who won't give away their fucking secrets. They
There
don't
is.
want to, you know what I mean? And it's like,
Yeah.
oh my God.
I mean, I'm old, and I can remember
dude,
when
you're my age, dude.
How
We're
old
not
are you?
old. I just had a birthday. I just turned 49.
I turned 50 next week.
See? Okay,
See?
we're the same age.
But
we are
remember when you were first should I be a filmmaker? And it seemed like, how is that even a thing
Yeah.
that you can do?
Yeah.
And now I think it's great that people are starting to share because there's a roadmap and it's actionable, and you can see you can build out a 5-film plan. I'm going to make one for $30,000 on credit cards. It's like people who do real estate, right? You continue to build that, and if your films make money, people will come back and invest in the next one.
Correct.
And it doesn't even have to make a lot of money. It just has to be one of that 3%. That 3% of movies make money. It's a crazy number.
That's so small.
And we're not in the business where if you give away your tips and your tricks and your things that you know and that you've learned, you're not harming yourself by giving those away
No.
and helping someone else. I mean, and we look at it like these are our students, our babies, if they succeed, we succeed because they succeeded. That's our success.
Yep.
Because we helped them with it or we taught them something or whatever. So yeah, it's just different. It's not a competition.
Yeah. And if they make it and they do something great, I can take credit for it.
Yeah,
That's
we're like
cool.
that. We helped them with that.
I'd be like, yeah, that's my
Good
they wouldn't
branding.
have done that without me, bro.
Yeah, Aaron loves to take all the credit. But it's
Yeah,
it's
he
something
does.
something you touched on earlier that I thought was interesting too is I always tell people it's you can take the same story and give it to 3 different filmmakers and you'll get 3 different films.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Trust me. I mean, look at some of the things that the big studios did back in the 90s.
Yeah. No.
Deep Impact, Armageddon, Volcano,
Correct.
Dante's
Yeah.
Peak. Everybody's like, oh, look, everybody has the same kind of scripts. But the same thing going is so we took 3 filmmakers here in Washington. Aaron started the idea of making a movie. we grabbed another filmmaker, and then I'm jumping on, and we're all writing 3 parts, and we're making a trilogy out of this thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's 3 different, 3 different storytellers telling the story and then bringing it all together.
Yeah. And
That sounds like socialism.
As long as it's fucking profitable, which it won't be because it's a fan film.
Yeah,
so
but
it's
it's-
not,
No,
it's not
it's
even
not
a
gonna be
profit.
profitable.
It's just to prove to people that you can work together and
Yes.
pull something off,
Yeah.
and everybody can gain from it.
yeah.
Well, because yeah, I mean, at the
It's
end
a
of
social
the day,
experiment.
and at the end of the day, you got to grow as an artist, right? Which means
Exactly.
you have to make your own opportunities. I mean, like, I'll do a movie the Dark Divide took 10 years to make, and then the next movie I shot on my iPhone for
Badass.
$50 because
Yeah.
it's just, how do you keep working? And if other people say no, time to break out the credit cards and ruin your credit for another 5 years. You know?
All right, but do what you got to do to get it out there.
Or spend 6 hours to make a DVD that makes you,
Yeah.
60,000 units.
That's fucking great, dude.
So many.
That's a
Those
lot.
DVDs cost like 85 cents to make.
Yeah. That's a lot.
and you're selling them for $9.99, $14.99.
They were $19.99 for years. Now I think I still have like a closet full, so now I'm just trying to get rid of them. They're like $6.99.
Just send us one. We'll let you pay for postage too.
Beautiful.
Oh, gee, thanks.
No, it's fantastic.
Stop it right now.
Yeah, and that's the other thing though. People still buy physical media all the time.
They do. Yeah.
You know, I go back and forth on it, but I think you're right.
You are right.
Yeah, because I still see a lot of people going, yeah, I'll watch it on digital, Aaron, but I'd love to have a DVD. I'm like, well, DVD? What the fuck? What, do you want an 8-track too, motherfucker, with the soundtrack on it? I was
Oh man, Blu-rays are amazing. Like
Yeah.
we do.
yeah.
I do 2-disc limited edition Blu-rays. You pack it with a bunch of extras that people can't get anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
They cost $1.35, I think, to make, and $24.95 to retail them.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah. And people
It's
want
no-brainer.
to have those physical, like, they don't, okay, a digital download, great, but you don't physically have
No,
it.
you want the movie.
Yeah.
on the
Yeah,
shelf.
you want it.
It's fun. And the
Or
box
you're-
art's
Yeah.
legit.
Yeah, or your like brother's a fan of ICP and it's his birthday. What are you going
Right.
to do? Give him like a digital download? No,
Yeah.
you're gonna give him, like, a disc.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
You can't unwrap that the same way. It doesn't really
No.
work.
I bought you a movie.
Here's
It's in our library on the cloud.
Yeah, here's a code for you, bro. You know? Yeah.
Oh, it's true.
Man.
It's true, though. It's true.
Tom, it's an absolute pleasure meeting
Such a
you, buddy.
pleasure.
For me too. You guys are awesome.
Thank you.
you.
No, man, you're a fantastic filmmaker. Absolutely loved your films that you shared with us. People need to go and watch these things still.
Yeah.
Keep
literally.
watching. Yeah. Where can everybody find these movies at home right now?
You can find me at tomputnam.net, and there's links to most of those. Burn is at detroitfirefilm.org. The ICP movie is at icpmovie.com.
Okay.
The Dark Divide is at darkdividemovie.com. And they're not on Netflix. The documentaries are not on Amazon. Dark Divide is. You can watch
Okay.
it for free on Amazon, I think, right now.
Cool.
And iTunes and Vudu and all the places that you go to rent movies.
Beautiful.
And when we put this out, we'll put some links down.
Yeah, I'll
for
get
everyone.
everything in the show notes
Yeah,
for everybody.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah, of
absolutely,
course.
Tom.
Of course.
You're a great guy. I
Yes.
appreciate you, man. Thank you. Very,
I
very
So
much.
much
appreciate
fun.
you.
You're
Thanks
fun
so
to
much.
talk to, also.
Dope stuff.
Thank you.
Now I gotta
Thanks
figure
for
out-
spending your Saturday with me.
Oh hell yeah!
Oh, yeah.
Thanks.
Our pleasure.
The same. Hopefully you got something out of this.
Yeah, by the way,
totally.
other than some good giggles.
No, it's cool. I mean, this is what it's all about, right?
Right,
Is to meet
right.
other filmmakers, and it's
Yes.
so hard to do that right now.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
Like, I'm getting off this call, and I'm very excited, about what I'm working on because excitement's contagious, right?
Yes, it
That's
is.
right.
It so
It
much
is.
is.
Exactly.
Yes, it is. And you can learn something from everybody. That's another thing that I like about the film community is
Yep.
that we learn just as much from someone who's just beginning into the film industry as we have people that have been in it for a long time. So that's what's cool about the film community, I think.
yeah,
Or
absolutely.
So-
people's mistakes.
Yes, that's what I
Have
mean.
me on again next time, and we can just talk about all the shit I've done wrong.
Great.
I love it.
We'll see you Wednesday.
We
Yeah.
haven't. We
Which
have
is,
like
by the way,
25
is-
shows worth.
Which is like massive, right? 'Cause
Yes.
then you learn what not to do.
Yeah,
Yes.
my show would be
Yes.
longer, Tom.
I don't know.
It would be
man.
way longer.
You go take a stroll through my IMDb. There's some epic ones on there.
Love you, buddy. Thank
Yeah,
you.
you've
All
been
right.
awesome. It's been such a pleasure.
It sure has.
For me too. Thanks,
All
guys.
right, man.
Stay safe.
All right,
Have
you
a
too.
good Saturday.
Chuck, close us out, man.
Tom, thank you for joining us today on Around the Reel. Thank you for sharing your experiences and everything that you've gone through to make the films. And like everybody has said today, thank you so much for sharing what it takes to get there. Some of the things that you've said have resonated with me. One of the biggest things for me was actually the idea of doing some live theatrical releases for one of our, whichever shoulder I'm looking over here, one of our
Giant Pacific Octopus?
Giant Pacific Octopus.
Yeah, coming out next
and then
month.
also say goodbye, doing a live theatrical event, and let's sell some shit and make people buy stuff.
Right.
And then I want to end up with a closet full of stuff left over.
Yeah.
After we sold 40,000 units. It's exciting. Like you said, this is contagious. You need to meet people. You need to get out. At least that's what my therapist keeps saying. But anyway, whatever you do, get up and keep going. And remember, everybody think hard because you're thinking anyway.
See everybody later.
Bye.
Bye. Take care.
For those of you that want to be a guest on Around the Reel, please email Sam at aroundthereel253@gmail.com.
That's aroundthereel253@gmail.com.
Not Messenger. Do not message Aaron on Messenger because then he has to send you a message that says email Sam at aroundthereel253@gmail.com.
That's aroundthereel253@gmail.com.
How come they can't just message me again?
Because nobody wants to fucking talk to you.
Can anybody reach out? That's an artist, filmmaker, actor?
If you're an artist of any kind, we want to hear from you.
But we are going to vet the crap out of you.
We don't care if you make millions of dollars in Hollywood or if you're just beginning your career in the art industry. We don't care. So everybody that wants to be on Around the Reel, yes, we want you.
That's aroundthereel253@gmail.com.